H Jones here, your HR Wise Guide. Last week I talked about collusion in the workplace, right? And if you want to watch that video, you can go back and do that. Now this week I want to talk about how to resist collusion, about resisting collusion in the workplace. I have noticed something about collusion, all right? And this is what I've noticed about collusion. With this irresistible, and it can be very irresistible. With this irresistible allure, collusion can be a tempting, difficult to resist morsel that beckons. Have a taste of me. Indulge me. Now, I've watched people fall for the lie that is collusion because it appeals to their desire for insider knowledge, as being part of a clique, for example, the in crowd, or because they want to benefit from that collusive relationship in some way, shape or form, okay? But here's the thing with collusion. Here's the thing with that behaviour. It is not something to be played with. It is actually something that you run in the opposite direction of. You see it coming and you make way of your escape quickly. So what is it? Well, the Merriam-Webster dictionary defines collusion as a secret agreement or cooperation, especially for an illegal or deceitful purpose. It's a secret agreement or cooperation, especially for an illegal or deceitful purpose. And if that's not enough, collusion has some pretty nasty associates, and among them are fraud, conspiracy, complicity, and plotting. Now, how do all of these behaviours work together, you may ask? Well, imagine this scenario with me for a moment, okay? Now, two people, could be more, but a minimum of two people with conniving minds meet to plot how to manage a colleague out of their organisation, out of their position, okay? So that's the premise of the meeting. They create a plan that includes scheming with other colleagues, so they bring other colleagues in the plan to make false allegations against the colleague that they want to manage out, get rid of, get out of the organisation. Now they bring their conspiracy to life under the veil of secrecy. Collusion operates in secrecy. A false sense of security and arrogance, or I should say collusion works best in secrecy. They believe they ultimately control the situation and someone's destiny, the height of arrogance. And this is the delusion of collusion. Secrets have a way of coming to light, and lies often succumb to the truth, okay? And when that happens, when those secrets come out, and they often do, collusion is exposed for the complete delusion it is, right? The consequences range from public embarrassment. They range from public embarrassment, and they can go through to, consequences can go through to internal disciplinary action, to personal financial liability. So for example, if an employee takes an employer to employment tribunal and also names their colleagues, you personally could face financial consequences. But it doesn't have to be like this. First of all, run in the opposite direction, okay? And I will say right now, if you want to address workplace collusion in your workplace, you can book a workshop on, you can book my workshop rather, Understanding Collusion in the Workplace, and I'll place the link in the description below. So how do you resist collusion? Well, let me share one instance of how I responded when collusion came knocking, when a senior manager presented a plan to conclude with them. So, a senior manager called me for advice. I suspected they were up to no good. But you know what? To avoid the accusation that I was unwilling to listen, I sat and listened patiently to every single word they said. I remember staring at the blank wall in front of me as I listened. every word they spoke made it apparent to me that they didn't want my advice. They wanted me to help facilitate an unfair and discriminatory plan that would disadvantage a staff member. Subtext, help me out here, Dawn, as a senior manager. Now, as an aside, that subtext can be a powerful hook to reel someone in. And I've had countless conversations with employees, some of them are managers, who are willing to or have compromised their integrity to carry out their senior managers' plans or instructions. Now, that doesn't mean that's every senior manager, because I've worked with plenty of senior managers with lots of integrity, but it does happen. So I continued anyway to listen to this proposal from the senior manager, and all I kept thinking was, it's got an employment tribunal claim written all over it. So when they finished speaking, I responded in one boundary setting sentence. I said, I will not be going to an employment tribunal with you. Now, I probably followed up after that conversation with an email, as is actually my standard practice. And the reason I would have done that was to keep the record straight, transparent, clear. Now, I admit it can take boldness and courage to say no to a senior manager, to stand up to a senior manager. But you know what? It's easier when you know what is right and what is wrong, and you know what the consequences are, and you are not willing to compromise. Now, suppose you're in a position where you feel the pressure to succumb to collusion. Well, here's a couple of things that you can do to try to do your utmost to resist it and hopefully overcome it. Number one, ask the person that's suggesting you collude with them to put their request in writing. Now, most people won't, because you know what? Sunlight is the best disinfectant. And because they won't, the issue will likely go away. Plus, you'll signal that you want things kept transparently on the record, and that's the complete opposite of collusion. Okay, another thing you can try is this. Say you're in an interaction, right? You're right there and you feel immense pressure. You're put on the spot to agree to collusion and you're finding it difficult to resist. Okay, excuse yourself and say you need to go to the toilet. Go and lock yourself in the store and ask yourself this: will my future self thank me for colluding? Or if you need extra help, call a trusted friend and run the scenario by them, okay? Sometimes we need that help, that support, that courage to help us to make the right decision. But remember, it's your decision. Then follow up your answer, follow up with the right action, or rather, do the right thing. Do not succumb, okay, to collusion. Resist it at all costs. And, you know, I'm going to be frank. There have been times when I've had to resist collusion and it has been, the relationship has become uncomfortable, very uncomfortable. But here's the thing that kept me even in all of that discomfort. What actually kept me was knowing I hadn't compromised my integrity, knowing that I hadn't disadvantaged a colleague, knowing that I could put my head on the pillow and sleep at night. And for those reasons and many more, I would go back and I would still do the same things. Did they make me popular? No. Did they cause difficulties in relationships? Absolutely, they did. But as I said, making that decision to resist collusion helped me to rest within myself and helped me to sleep at night knowing I had done the right thing. So I hope that helps you to resist collusion when it comes knocking. Not if, it will come knocking at some point. Resist it at all costs, and yeah, have that peace of mind knowing you've done the right thing and your present and your future self will thank you for it. Thanks for listening, and do remember, be HR wise. Bye-bye.